In this video, we will continue to talk about FLUIDRAY. Now, in the previous video, we saw how to download and install. In this video here, we're going to start to import and create scenes in FLUIDRAY. And as soon as you open up FLUIDRAY the first time, you can see here there is this animation that is going to explain to you how to import, but this is what we're also going to see here, and we're going to do it together. And also, you can see there in the left side, I have downloaded my libraries. So you can always check these animated tips that are gonna appear to understand how to use the software. These are pretty handy. We already said that FLUIDRAY, it's extremely easy to use, extremely user-friendly. Everything is like reduced to the really basics here. So you can see there we downloaded the libraries now, so I can now assign materials. I can drag and drop environments and backgrounds. We're gonna do a quick demonstration later, and we're gonna also talk about all the other actions that we can do here with materials. But here you can see the libraries are there. So these are the standard libraries, or you can go by category. So you have asphalt or bricks, concrete, wood, plastic, glass, and so on. So there's really a lot of materials that you can use, and we're gonna experiment with those during the course. Metals, and there we go. So if you think you didn't download all the assets, you can always go back to downloads here and click on the update standard library, and you can download them. So I'm gonna make an example in this video using Sketchup. So we're gonna use Sketchup and FLUIDRAY in combination, but we can also use other software, and we're gonna make other example later. But we're gonna start with Sketchup because it's one of the easiest software, and it's also one of the cheapest, so one of the most economic. I'm gonna navigate into my Sketchup folder where I keep all the files of the video course in Sketchup. If you're interested, by the way, you can check our Sketchup video course if you want to know more. You can see here I have all my lessons in Sketchup. So I'm just gonna pick one of these lessons and I'm gonna insert it inside the FLUIDRAY scene. So just selecting one of these. Well, this is just gonna be a quick example just to show you the process, but we're gonna make more examples later, so don't worry. I'm gonna open up the project. You don't need to do this. This is just to show you how the project looks in SketchUp, but you don't really need to open it up in SketchUp. You just need the SketchUp file. This is the most important thing. You don't need a specific file like FBX or OBJ. You don't need a specific format. You can just save in SketchUp file format, and that's gonna be good for you to insert it in FLUIDRAY. So FLUIDRAY supports native SketchUp files, but also we will see other type of native files. So all we need to do is go to the menu here in the main viewport, which is the one of the rendering. So we can click on import model there, or we can go to file and we can go to import model or Control I. And we also see we can create a new scene, open a new project, Control N, Control O, save as. So we can do the most basic operations here. And we can also re-import the model. I will show you what's the difference between importing and re-importing. You can save the image that you're rendering and also quit the application when you're finished. So let's click on import and let's start. So I'm gonna navigate again in the folder where I have my SketchUp files. So in my case, again, I'm gonna go into the SketchUp video course folder, and I'm gonna get the same scene that I showed you just a minute ago in SketchUp, which is this one here, is lesson 18 of the course. So I'm gonna open it up just by clicking on selecting or double click on clicking open. There we go. and that's gonna open up my scene. And it's also giving me some extra information here, and these are really important commands that you need to understand, you need to remember every time you work here. And these are the navigation system, basically the navigation system shortcut keys. So you can use the mouse wheel to zoom, you can hold the control key plus the left mouse to drag and rotate, so to orbit, and you can hold the shift key and the left mouse button to pan. So basically everything works with the scroll wheel and with the left mouse in combination with control and shift key. So this is a scene right here. We didn't use camera. I'm not seeing my project here through a camera. I'm not using camera here. I'm not using lights. This is just a simple scene just to get started. We're gonna see extra things later like cameras, lights. We're gonna give a look to materials and how easy it is to drag and drop materials and environment in FLUIDRAY. So I'm just zooming with the scroll wheel here. So I'm zooming in and out, scrolling the scroll wheel of my mouse. And now if I hold control and click the left mouse, I'm going to orbit. And it's already telling me to drag and drop an environment to change the illumination. So, well, we're gonna talk also about this later on, but if you go in the environment, click and drag there and you can drop the environment directly there in the background. And you saw there another message appear, but that's for the materials we're gonna see in just a second. But you can see everything here is just drag and drop mechanism. So it's really easy, it's really straightforward and user friendly. Now again, Control Shift and left mouse to pan, and again Control and left mouse to orbit, and I'm slowly getting into the position where I want to be with my viewport. So I'm trying to find a nice angle to create the rendering. So this is usually what you do here. Unless you already have a camera set up, you can navigate your scene using the navigation tools that you just saw and try to get into the position where you want to be. So I'm trying to find a nice position here, like with a human height for my point of view. And this could be it. Now, you can see that the background isn't really good for a photo montage. So those trees there, they appear too big, but that's fine for now. We are just getting started just to see the really basic things. We're gonna talk about all this stuff later. We're gonna see how to work with environment, with materials, with backgrounds later on. But you can also see the lighting has changed, and the light is coming directly from the HDRI right now, which is the environment image. Before it was the default lighting coming from Sketchup file. So right now we're just overriding with the environment, and you can see some reflection as well. So now that material isn't looking too great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into material library. I'm gonna go into the metals. I'm gonna substitute that metal right there with something more realistic, like this one here, which is a little bit scratched and worn out. It's gonna be more realistic than perfect reflection or reflective mirror metal. And you can see right there, we just substitute the material real quick, real easy. This is the beauty of FLUIDRAY. Everything is so simple, so fast, so easy, and that's the rendering right there. So rendering is really fast. If you have a nice GPU, if you have a nice computer, that's gonna be really fast. It's gonna render out your scene within minutes, and you can tell by the you will see blurred at the beginning, and then it's gonna be more sharpened and more and more. So that means that the quality of the render is gonna increase progressively. This is progressive rendering. It's gonna increase the quality step by step, and you can see directly what is going on just by looking at your project. So you can see here it's really, really easy. Few steps, and there's our rendering. Now, there are a lot of things we need to adjust, especially in our scene. Now, make sure that the scene that you import looks realistic, because, well, FLUIDRAY cannot do miracles as any other software. So you need to have a nice models, nice scene, You can see there, well, SketchUp is more for technical drawings, so everything looks really simplified and technical. So those trees there in the background, those are not realistic. So you need to adjust the scene in order to be more realistic. So the realism start from the scene that you're gonna use. Now you can see here, let's go back in SketchUp, that every looks really technical. SketchUp isn't great for realistic rendering. This is why we can use FLUIDRAY, and we can see the difference right here. Now FLUIDRAY looks a lot more realistic, but you can help the process, you can help to be the scene more realistic by changing all those really simple assets. So I'm deleting now the car in the scene because it looks too simplified. So I want to delete it. I'm gonna save this scene as another version in SketchUp file, version 2022. So it's the latest version of SketchUp. Now if I want to re-import the model right here, I can do it, but since I changed the name, I need to import it with the new name. So I will click import again, and I will import the model. So when you want to do some changes and you want to re-import, this is better because it's gonna maintain the materials. But now I've changed the name, so I need to do a new import. So it's like I am importing a new scene and not the same scene. But we're gonna do an example also with re-import. So right now I'm just gonna import the new scene, which is called 18B, and you can see there that the car has disappeared, but the materials are, you can see the metal material there is the one that we saw before. So I need to change it again. So every time I import a new scene, I need to start all over, changing materials. And you can see here I'm just gonna assign also some material for the concrete there because it looks too white. So make sure that you substitute all those materials in the scene that look fake and too technical, too cartoonish. Again, the trees there in the background, they really look like a cartoon, so you need to fix that. So I'm gonna click and drag here some nice ground for the terrain, and also I'm going to add some nice concrete or asphalt, or I can use paving stones for my pavement there. Well, this is just the beginning. You can fix materials, you can adjust them, but we're gonna see this later. We're just gonna do the really simple thing here, just drag and drop some materials and change the scene. So just give a look to all materials here. There are really a lot of materials and they are constantly updated as well. So okay, so let's say that this could be a nice concrete floor for my scene. Now let's understand what's the difference between importing and re-importing. Now let's say that I want to delete that couch there because I don't like it, that sofa. So right now I'm not gonna save as, but I'm gonna just save Control S in SketchUp. So I'm just gonna save overriding the same exact scene, which is called right now 18B. So now I don't need to import again a new model. I just need to re-import the same exact model. So I'm gonna click on that arrow for the re-import and just open it the same exact scene. And there you go. Now it just updated the previous file. So you can see it didn't change the materials. The materials stayed as the one that I have applied here in FLUIDRAY. It just deleted the sofa there. The coach is gone. So when you click import, it's gonna reset the whole scene. You're gonna start all over to apply materials and everything. When you do the re-import using the same exact scene, it's just gonna update the scene and adding what you gonna add or deleting what you have deleted. So this is the main difference between importing and re-importing. And so, well, this is again just the beginning. Now this is an exterior file and that I've used. I show you in SketchUp the original file, but again, you don't need to open it up in SketchUp. Actually, you can just perhaps download it and use whatever file you want. And in SketchUp we have also, and you can see here some materials looks fine, so I wouldn't modify those if they don't look really awful. Now it's rendering right now. So when the rendering is finished, you can save the image as a render. So you can leave it rendering for a while, and then when you are satisfied with the quality, you can just save the image. And I'm gonna create a folder here to save all the rendered image. So I'm gonna call this renderings, and here I'm gonna save all the tests that I will do. So I'm gonna call this lesson 01 and save it. Okay, so I can use my scene here, but you can use any SketchUp file. You don't need to open it up in SketchUp to insert it into FLUIDRAY. But SketchUp has a wonderful resource, which is the 3D warehouse. Here we can download entire scenes, or we can download exterior scenes, interior scenes, and also trees scenes where we have nice vegetation, nice trees. We can find trees, we can find assets for outdoor landscape design, but also interiors, bed, chairs, whatever. So it's really a huge resource. So if you want to use, for example, this asset here, we can just download it. And we have two options. We can open it directly into SketchUp to merge it with the current scene, or we can just download it and save it into our computer and then open it with FLUIDRAY. So we have many options here also. So this one here, I will download it. So I'm gonna create a new folder here, call it warehouse. And this is where I'm gonna save some of these scenes. So I'm gonna save it, and that's it. Now that's downloaded, I can open it up directly in FLUIDRAY. Don't need to go inside SketchUp. But I also want to show you how you can open it and merge it inside SketchUp. So if you say yes, load it into SketchUp, this is going to be loaded directly into SketchUp. Now it doesn't have the correct size. I need to rescale it. I need to adjust it a little bit, but it's there. So I can create my scene and then save it to be then opened in FLUIDRAY. If you're interested in the SketchUp, you can check our SketchUp video course in the channel. So the one important thing is that you cannot do any, let's say, scene creation or any modeling in FLUIDRAY. So what needs to be done for the scene has to be done inside the software that you are using. So if you're using SketchUp, make sure that the scene is ready and just save it and then import it. So you need to assemble your scene with all your exterior, interior design, furniture, and furnishing, appliances, whatever. You need to do it before you actually get into FLUIDRAY. So make sure that your scene is ready. You can find a lot of projects and objects in the 3D warehouse. So make sure that it's ready. And when it is, you can get in here FLUIDRAY and you can use the scenes that you have prepared. So I'm gonna go into the warehouse just to show you an interior here that I've just downloaded from the 3D warehouse. I'm gonna just open it up, and that it is. So now it's just a matter of finding the correct angle again. Now this is of course conceived to be an interior, so it doesn't look great from the exterior. So I need to navigate my scene again, try to find a place where I can see better. And also cameras are really important, because with cameras I can directly get into the camera and I don't need to waste time here to adjust the view. So if I have cameras set up already in SketchUp, that's going to be better in another software. We're going to make more examples in other videos, but you can see here it's a bit difficult sometimes to find the correct angle, and I believe is this one here, so we can see now inside our interior. And I do have a camera right there, but it doesn't show me anything. So I'm gonna go here in the standard perspective, and I'm gonna stay with this view. And again, I can save the image right now. I'm just gonna leave it rendering a little bit and then save the image. So the more assets you will have in your scene, the more furniture, the more objects, the longer will take the render to reach a nice quality, but it's gonna get there. So just leave it, and again, when you're satisfied, save the image, the rendered image. So this will be all for this lesson. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the channel so that you can also see other courses and videos that we're gonna publish. And if you want to support us, please join the channel as a supporter. So this will be all for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next.